Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. It is your favorite family, the Savages. We need an extra A, but close enough.
We'll be alright.
So today we're going to be talking about my experience, kind of our experience, but specifically mine, in dealing with anxiety and depression postpartum. So not our typical content, but I feel like we talk about a lot of stuff that's just real life, and this is our reality. So we want to come on here and share through my vulnerability. If I can help just one person feel validated in their feelings or seek treatment or help, then my job is done. So let's get after it. So I guess we'll take it back to a little bit of background story, just so that way you guys have insight into why I was feeling what I was feeling. When we first got home from the hospital, I had to have an emergency C-section in the hospital. So it definitely changed the way that our coming home journey looked. Like ideally you want to come home, figure out our routine, love on our baby, just have this great time. And in the hospital we had to have an emergency C-section. So the recovery from that sucked. And it put a lot of the burden of taking care of the baby on Randy. He was changing diapers, he was taking care of me, he was changing my diapers, helping me. It was a mess. And so we realized early on that we couldn't just do it ourselves. And I think part of that made me feel a bit defeated, just the fact that we came home and all I could do was breastfeed. I couldn't even hold Sage, because when I would try to get up off the couch, I was in so much pain. I literally just felt kind of useless, and I just saw how much that Randy was doing. So I think that just coming home and having that experience kind of shaped the beginning of the journey. And they call it baby blues. For the first few days after you have a baby, you kind of go through a wave of emotions, and I definitely think it was tied to that as well. Just feelings of uselessness and just sadness, because I wanted to be able to do more. Did you want to say something?
No, go ahead.
Okay. So that lasted for a few days. My mom came into town to be able to help Randy out and myself and Sagey, and that was a huge help. But I think that having her come, it made me see how Sage reacted to me versus Randy and my mom. And when I would hold him, he would literally scream and cry, and he was so mad, and it felt like he was mad at me, but he's a baby, he literally didn't know. But I was so emotional. I literally felt like Sage did not like me, because Randy would take him, he would immediately stop crying, he would fall asleep in Randy's arms. My mom would take him, he would do the same thing with her. And then when I would hold him, it was he was repulsed by me, and I'm I just carried you for 9 months, what is going on? And so I felt like I wasn't maybe meant to be a mom. At the beginning I just was is this right? Did I do the right thing? What is going on here? And so I think just having those experiences super early on, that kind of was planted in my mind, and it was hard for me to let go of. I'll never forget going outside, calling one of my best friends, and I was girl, my baby doesn't like me. And she's Aubrey, you're just going through some emotional things, just give it a few days. And literally now me and Sage are this,
Aggie.
So yeah, so I think that I was really emotional at first. Once the recovery got better and I could do more, I was feeling more upbeat, feeling more like myself. But I'm very self-aware, and I kind of know when I'm not being me. And I also think that there was a pressure of Randy and I had just gotten married in January, had only been together since the previous July, August. And then had the baby in June. And so it had only been a year fully. And he initially, if you watch our other videos, was attracted to my energy. And I could feel my energy shift after postpartum. And so there's this pressure for me. I'm I don't want my husband to feel a certain way about me. He can't read my mind, and I can't expect him to. But at the same time, it's he was attracted to my energy before, and now my energy is different, and I'm already feeling I'm not doing great as a mother. I don't also want to not be doing great as a wife. So I just was going through it at first, and then I started to try to get back to myself. Randy and I made a plan so that way I could start to try to get back to myself. So I'm really big into fitness. I wanted to start a company, so I started making clothes. So I was spending a lot of my extra time down here, making clothes, feeling productive, taking care of the baby earlier in the day. And then when Randy would get home, he would immediately, after working a full day, and he still does this, take Sage, and he gives me the nighttime before we come back together and all go to bed together. But during those hours, I'm able to just do whatever I want, which is so freeing. Like, I know that there's so many moms out there that don't even have that. And so if you're out here doing it by yourself and you don't have a supportive partner, like, I see you, I feel you. This is like the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. And I hope that you have family or someone near you that can like at least give you a few hours, because that's just so necessary. So I started working out, started making clothes, was starting to feel like a little bit better. And then progressively, like, I don't even know what happened, but I started losing that little spark. Like, they always say like comparison is like the thief of joy. And after Sage was born, and like right before, we took a break from social media, and I think it was really healthy for just everything, like my mindset before the birth, like our relationship. And then me getting back on social media, like I had these moms who were like pregnant around the same time as me. And so seeing their like snap back versus me, I'm like working so hard in the gym and I'm like trying so hard to like lose this weight, and they like literally just looked amazing like right after having their baby. And like no one on social media talks about the hard parts of like motherhood. And I would like go on there and I would talk about some of the struggles, because Sage, he's not a good sleeper. He would not sleep. He would not take a bottle. Like, it just was all dependent on me. Like, breastfeeding is like a full-time job. And so no one was talking about like those struggles. They're all just like showing like these beautiful babies, these beautiful bodies. And I just started like letting these thoughts creep in, like about my self-worth and like me not feeling like myself, not realizing that I have to shed the old me to become like the new wife and the new mother and the new version of me outside of just those roles. And I was like still trying to hang on to parts of my old life and not adapt to this beautiful new one that I have, while also comparing myself to other people who I have no clue what's going on behind the scenes. I literally see a highlight reel of their life, but I couldn't differentiate the two. And so I literally stopped working out, shut down the clothing business. Like after my first month, I made a lot of sales. Like, people were so supportive, and I'm so grateful for that, and just like the love that people showed. And I didn't have it in me. Like literally when Randy would get home, he would give me the time and I would just sit on the couch. Like, I wasn't motivated to do anything. I wasn't motivated to talk to anyone. And so he started to like tap into the fact that like I was changing. And so we were having conversations. He's like, what can I do? How can I help? And so that's just so beautiful for someone to be so aware of what's going on with you that they want to help you however they can. So I went to the doctor and had a conversation. And you have like one checkup postpartum, and that's just to make sure everything is good, like when you get cleared for sex and for working out and things like that. And then you really don't have much follow-ups unless something is wrong. So I had to reach out to the doctor because they don't check on you. So like if you start to feel like something is off, like you have to reach out. And I feel like that's really like a gap in our healthcare system for moms. It's like you go see a doctor every week while you're pregnant, and they make sure the baby's okay, and they make sure you're okay. And then after you have the baby, it's like, all right, good luck, like figure it out. And so I had to reach out to them and have an appointment and just talk to her about like some of the things that I was feeling. And she's like, yeah, it definitely sounds like you have like a bit of depression. And she prescribed me some medications. I also found one medication. And I also found a therapist that I started to see weekly and start just to talk about how I was feeling and to normalize and validate the fact that like, your feelings are real and they're valid, but like, let's help you get through these moments, So, yeah, that was kind of my bout with the depression part of it. The anxiety piece, what that looks like for me, and it's going to present differently for every woman, especially dependent upon your situation, your support system, things like that. For me, it's like this overwhelming feeling of just fear. I don't even know how else to explain it. It's like, how they always say that moms are like constantly like checking the baby monitor to make sure the baby's breathing, feeling on their backs. Like I do that, but like times 100. Like I'm always like, is he okay? Is he okay? Oh my God, he's breathing funny. Is he okay? Like just this paranoia about the fact that something bad could happen to him or something bad could happen to me. It's like once you have a kid, it's like new fears unlocked, especially for someone who already deals with anxiety. And I've suffered loss at a young age. I lost my little brother when I was 16 and he was 7. So I felt like he was taken well before his time. And like Sage is named after him. So Sage Christian, my little brother's name was Christian. And so, not to put any of that on stage, but it's like you care and you love so much for like this being that you've created that you want to protect them at all costs. And you realize once they come into this world, like there's only so much control that you have. And so you want to hold on to that control. And so that looked like me not leaving the house, me not letting people around him, me making people wear multiple masks, me not letting, him meet Randy's family and friends and my family, and like just complete paranoia and anxiety around everything with Sage. So I feel like I'm easing up on that. Like there's small risks that you have to take. Like we went to Jamaica, realized that he was fine, and even if he did come down with a cold, he's okay. Like you have to be exposed to things to be able to build up your immunity. So like for me, I have to take these risks to show myself like it's okay. Like you're gonna have these feelings, they may not go away, but you can't stop living your life. So as of lately, for the past few weeks, I've been working out religiously. I've been eating a lot healthier. We've been having a lot of fun time as a couple. I've been just feeling a lot more in tune with who I am, to the point where I feel like I'm able to make this video and it not like affect me emotionally. So if this helps anyone, this was a lot for me to kind of say and to take on, but if this helps anyone, then like I said, my job is done. And I don't know if you have anything to add, if you want to. Did I do good? I did okay?
You did great.
Thank you.
That's all you did. I give you a hug up.
Thank you. I love you. If you want to follow me on social media, I do respond. If you guys want just someone to talk to, someone to listen, someone to validate your feelings, I can be that for you. And thank you for watching this video, and come back to our channel. We'll have so much more content coming soon.